Hey everybody, welcome back to the PPC Questions and Answers show. My name is Jason Rothman, Premier Google Partner, and as always, I'm joined by the great Chris Schaefer, Google T-shirt guy.
Yeah, Google T-shirt guy, the guy that paid for this T-shirt. I didn't get this is, ladies and gentlemen, this is not a free one because, as Jason so eloquently said, I think a year and a half ago, you can't see my nipples in this shirt, so you know I paid for it. It wasn't a free shirt.
All right, Chris, I'm going to get right to the question. Today's question comes from Marcus. Marcus filled out the form before at paidsearchpodcast.com on the contact page, everybody. If you have a question, he filled it out before I started asking people where they're from. So, Marcus, I'm going to guess that you are from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And if you are, I want you to send me a $25 Cheesecake Factory gift certificate because that's a pretty impressive guess. Nice. So yes, let us know on Twitter or Facebook. By the way, Chris, the Facebook page that that we're both on, blowing up. Like, we get a lot of likes on the Facebook page, so I appreciate that.
Yes, and that's how I judge my worth. So thank you so much. It's very important.
Chris hates Facebook, but yet, everyone, he's still on there. So Marcus writes in, Chris, sip your water or your CrossFit juice, whatever you guys sip.
CrossFit juice.
Love the show. Y'all do a great job. Very informative. My question is, how do you judge the success of top-of-funnel PPC campaigns or ad groups? I stay locked in on conversion and ROI, but sometimes I wonder if I'm being too cautious with PPC campaigns or ad groups that I know are top-of-funnel. How do you guys judge if a top-of-funnel campaign is successful, or do you even believe in top-of-funnel PPC campaigns? Thanks, Marcus. So, Marcus, thanks for writing in. Chris, I'm just going to sit back. I want to ask you two questions based on this. One, can you just, for everyone's refresher here, break down top-of-funnel, bottom-of-funnel? Because I first learned that from you. And then second, let's get to Marcus's question. I know you have a story about that. Does top-of-funnel work? Are you being too cautious with it? How do you go after top of funnel? Should you even try it?
Yeah. Okay. So great question, Marcus. Let's get with some vocabulary first. Okay. Top of funnel, what Marcus is talking about would be, and we're going to use just something simple because it's easy for the example, plumber. Okay. Top of funnel for plumbers would be my sink is broken. Right. Well, let's go. That's top of funnel. But okay. Sorry. Let's say sink is broken, toilet is broken, something like that. Okay. The person has not designated they're looking for a product or service or anything. They're just doing what I call a research search. Okay. This is a person who's just throwing something into Google and they're not really requesting anything. This is top of funnel, very little value. Based on my experience, there's not a whole lot of value in something like that. But wait for the story. Okay, so bottom of funnel would be somebody who has designated that they are looking for a product, a service, something very specific. They're typically, but not always, the keyword might be a little bit longer, might have more words in it. So a bottom of funnel keyword might be sink repair in Milwaukee.
Okay.
Right? Okay. Because that's where Marcus is from. So sink repair plumbers in Milwaukee. Longer term has the problem and the symptom both in the keyword. It has plumber and then the problem they're looking for. Okay, this would be a very specific low funnel search where someone's ready to have a problem solved. They're ready to purchase a product, ready to hire someone. Something.
They're ready to call the plumber. They're ready to call the advertiser.
Exactly. And the reference to the funnel is basically there's a lot of top of funnel, right? In the shape of a funnel, the top of the funnel is going to have a high volume. Bottom of funnel is going to have much smaller. So it's easy to get top of funnel because there's, if there's a 1,000 bottom of funnel, there will be 1,000,000 top of funnel. Okay. So the accessibility of top of funnel is very easy.
Okay. So Chris, let me just intuitively, everyone listening is going, okay, bottom of funnel totally makes sense. They're looking for a plumber in their search. We're a plumber. We want to be there. Top of funnel, that's where we, as everyone listening to you right now, is going, okay, they they might need a plumber, so we probably want to show up on it, but maybe it's too high up in the funnel, so we don't. What's going on with the, obviously we know we want the bottom of the funnel always, but what do you do with the top of the funnel, Chris? Is it ever worth advertising on? How do you tackle that?
I have to, I mean, I like to be honest on this, and I talk, Jason, as you've pointed out, I make mistakes. And sometimes, you know, when I choose book a hair appointment online as a keyword, I go back in a year later and I don't realize that was a dumb choice. Okay. So I'm going to talk about a mistake. Okay. I had a client, and let's say that he's a plumber. Okay. In Milwaukee. Okay. So he is insistent that he wants to try top of funnel. Okay. And we're talking broken sink, clogged pipe, broken toilet, clogged drain. I mean, this stuff has no action terms. We're talking broad match, no action terminology in the keyword at all. You know, as far as, and just to define action term, I'm referring to hire someone to fix clogged drain. Not even the word
clogged
hire.
Drain as a keyword will give an AdWords manager a clogged artery.
I know, and
Thank you very much.
I fought it. Thank you. It's good stuff. So I fought it, and I thought, no way. I mean, and I told him, okay, fine, I'll do it. I'll give it a very small budget, and I'll put some very low bids on it. We're talking broad match stuff, and I put a bunch of negative keywords just to keep the definite junk from coming in, and I turned it on, and I sat back, and I waited.
Waited to be proven right.
Let's watch this bag of trash get lit on fire, because it's just going to be awful. It wasn't. It actually performed very well, to the point that it started to push the performance of some of my more specific low funnel campaigns.
So the keywords were cheaper at the top of the funnel?
The keyword, yes, they're cheaper. Yeah. And because of that, because of the accessibility of top funnel, they are easier to get. There's more of them. So because the leads are cheaper, we can get more clicks. So if, assuming our conversion rate is this, equally the same, we would get more conversions at a cheaper cost per conversion, right? Because there's more volume and you can pay for more, for every $100 spent, you might, it was great. It worked really well. So Marcus, to directly, answer your question, I would say it's worth it to try. And we've talked about broad keywords and testing them. I'm not saying just go out there and throw broad keywords into an ad group that's already working. Be cautious about how you approach it. But top of funnel can work depending on your industry. Sometimes, there's a lot of stuff out there, and because of the accessibility, because of the volume of those top of funnel keywords that are happening all the time, they're easier to find and control how much volume is coming through, and you'll know whether it's successful or not based on conversion tracking. I would not, Jason, it's going to blow your mind, but do not look at the search terms to determine quality of traffic.
Yeah.
I mean,
hang on, everybody. Let's have a moment for that. Don't look at search terms. Chris Schaefer said, "Don't look at search terms." Chris Schaefer dreams about search terms. How do you restrain yourself from that, Chris? Do you just look at the cost per conversion and tell yourself you're not going in there?
I mean, if I would have looked at search terms to determine the value of what we were doing, I would have said, "This is garbage. I mean, this is awful." But those people were converting. It was working well. They were typing like, snake drain pipe, or pipe snake fix kind of. I mean, just things that are just like they're just vomiting out of their brain onto their phone as they're typing, and it's like,
and then calling in,
and then calling
for that,
and then calling. So,
and by the way, it's you said it depends on the industry. It's also going to depend on the client and the strength of their intake, because if someone called one plumber and asked a bunch of questions about snakes and clogged drains, the intake might not be very good. They might think they're wasting their time and they'll hang up on people and not book jobs. But maybe your client, Chris, is very personable, will listen to people, let them get their frustrations out, and then sell them on hiring him to just come out and fix the problem. Now, Chris, this isn't the paid search podcast. This isn't this is the PPC questions and answers show. We keep it short, but let me just ask you this. Just point us in the right direction. When you do determine you want to test out high in the funnel keywords, maybe some broad keywords, how does Chris Schaefer go about doing that? Are you putting them in a new campaign? Are you putting them in the same ad groups? What just start us out here. How would you start
new
that
campaign? They need their own budget. They need their own campaign.
Okay.
And the main reason is because they need their own budget. Honestly, that's what it comes down to. I would not put it in the same thing as everything else, because those will suck the budget right out of your AdWords daily budget.
Campaign.
I mean, so yeah, because there's so much volume. So put it in a new campaign, put lower bids, roughly maybe a quarter of what you're doing for your other stuff. So if you're bidding $10, maybe do $250. For
Chris, this is not the Paid Search Podcast. This is the
PPC
right. Question and Answer. So
that's it.
Marcus, thank you for the question. We hope that helps, and we will see you guys next time on the PPC Questions and Answers show. Doodle doodle doodle. I like the music.